Joining us for a conversation is Jordan Trimble, the CEO of Skyharbour Resources. Mr. Trimble, welcome to the show, sir.
Thanks for having me.
Always a pleasure to speak with you, sir. For someone new to the conversation, Skyharbour Resources is a preeminent uranium explorer with a project portfolio located in Canada's Athabasca Basin, which hosts the highest grade uranium deposits in the world. Before we begin, I do want to note that Skyharbour Resources has been generously rewarding shareholders as the stock has moved from 8 cents in 2020 all the way up to 60 cents as of this month. And by the way, a lot of that movement occurred after our interview 5 weeks ago when the stock was trading at 33 cents. Let's find out what has the market optimistic about Skyharbour Resources. Jordan, take us to your flagship Moore project and get us up to speed on the latest developments there.
Sure. So we announced back in March we were mobilizing crews for upcoming exploration programs. We've started off with some geophysical programs at the project, in particular in a new area called Grid 19. Most of your audience will be familiar with our main target area, which is called the Maverick corridor. That's really been the focus for us over the last several years with the drill programs and the upcoming drilling. Most of it will be focused on continuing to delineate and expand high-grade zones of uranium mineralization with a focus on the basement rocks. But we do have several other regional targets that we are keen to go and test. And one of those is this Grid 19 target that we've done some EM surveys on. So just completed that, and we will be drilling here shortly. We do have plans for fairly aggressive drill and exploration programs for the remainder of the year. You might have seen as well, we just closed a couple weeks ago a $3 million financing. So we're now fully funded with over $8.5 million in cash and stock. That fully funds us right through this year into next year, and it'll likely allow us to expand on the initial plans for in terms of meterage for these drill programs. So keep an eye out for news flow from our main project, being the Moore Lake project, both drilling at the Maverick corridor and at some of these regional targets as well. And that'll take us right in through the summer into the fall with news flow.
You know, the Maverick corridor is a big feather in your cap, and Skyharbour's had success here before and looks to replicate that success. You referenced high grade. Tell us more.
Yeah, I mean, it's a project that has yielded some notable high-grade results since we acquired it from one of our larger shareholders, Denison Mines, a strategic partner of ours, back in 2016, and started working on it in 2017. And we've had some notable results as high as 21% U3O8 over 1.5 meters, 6% U3O8 over 6 meters, and just more recently, we've delineated and refined targets in the underlying basement rocks, looking for the feeder zones that have brought the uranium mineralization up from below. And just in this last program that we carried out late last year and announced results in December and January, we had our longest continuous zones of uranium mineralization, including one drill intercept that was 17.5 meters of 0.72% U3O8, and within that 10 meters of 1%, that being hosted in the underlying basement rock. So we really believe we've just scratched the surface, and with additional drilling, we feel like we can generate more value with the project, make additional discoveries, expand that high grade zone in the underlying basement rocks. But again, we do have other targets that we now have an expanded budget and program to go and test.
The drilling are the means and the ends are the results. When do you think we can anticipate those results?
Yeah, so I mean, it depends on the labs and the turnaround, but they've looks like compared to last year when things were quite backed up, the turnaround will be a bit quicker. So usually it's a 4 to 6 week turnaround from when the drilling starts to when we start getting numbers in. So you'll see a steady flow of news over the coming months. And as I mentioned, we usually carry out several drill programs a year with the healthy treasury we have. We have no lack of funds to go out and expand on the initial 3,000 meter drill program that we had planned. You'll likely see more meters drilled in this program here.
Skyharbour Resources isn't just a one-trick pony. The company employs a project generator business model that has 3 strategic partners. Any updates for us on your partner programs?
Yeah, so over the last couple months, you'll see that 2 of those partners have now completed their respective earnings. So at our Preston project, industry leader and strategic partner of ours at the project, Orano Canada, just completed a 51% earn-in. So we retain a minority interest going forward. Right beside that project at our East Preston project, our other partner, Azincourt Energy, is now earned in 70% of that project. They wrapped up a drill program here recently. Assay results are pending, so there'll be news flow from that. And then they do have plans to get back to work there in the summer, which they're fully funded for. And then more recently, we signed a definitive agreement with ASX-listed Valor Resources, a new partner company based in Perth, and they are earning in up to 80% at our North Falcon Point, or Hook Lake project, as we're now calling it. And we just had news out on that about a week ago, announcing the completion of some EM, electromagnetic geophysical programs that have been carried out as an initial first phase of work. And they're going to be following that up with some groundwork, and then ultimately look to go and carry out a drill program. So again, this just adds to the news flow, adds to the potential catalyst and the discovery potential at the project base. We get cash and stock from partner companies, and they fund the bulk of the exploration that's being carried out at these projects. We are in talks right now with other companies on some of our other 100% owned projects. We own 100% of South Falcon Point, as you may recall, which hosts an NI 43-101 compliant inferred resource. We also have 100% of the Man Lake project, strategically located southwest of the MacArthur River mine, and a few other properties as well. So keep an eye out for other deals and partner companies coming into the fold.
Leaving the project portfolio, Mr. Trimble, you've been spot on with your analysis on the uranium market. What has your attention at the moment?
Well, we've had quite the market over the last six or 7 months. It's certainly been volatile, but the net result has been a positive one. As you pointed out earlier, we've seen equity prices, share prices move higher on the back of renewed interest in the space. And I think that the key point here is we're finally seeing positive sentiment around nuclear energy as really an integral part to solving the issue of climate change and global warming. And so as that sentiment continues to improve, and as we see more interest, especially from ESG mandated investors, I think you'll see this trend continue. I think it's still very early on in this bull market. We still have yet to see a major move in the uranium price. We're seeing it trade just below $30 a pound. We did see it about a year ago jump up, and it's kind of settled in back around $30 a pound. But there is still a major supply side response that's played out, as we've talked about in previous interviews. The global primary mine supply was hit hard last year with the pandemic, decreasing down to about 120 million pounds in the backdrop of over 180 million pounds of demand. But getting back to this global objective, seemingly now around the world, with countries planning to go carbon neutral in the next 20 to 30 years, people are waking up to a simple fact that you need nuclear energy as a part of that solution. And that's going to be positive for uranium mining companies that provide the fuel for these nuclear reactors. And we're seeing it again across the world. Some of the biggest countries and biggest economies in the world that are really pushing for this, including the U.S., including China, and in each of these countries, nuclear is going to be play an integral role in achieving those emissions reduction targets. So I think we'll see that continue. I think that'll bring more money into the space. And as we've talked about before, there's very few ways to get investment exposure to uranium and to the sector. And there's very few active companies. Still, I think you'll see more pop up over the coming years. But the companies that have stuck it out for the last 5 to 10 years are going to be rewarded the most. And we've been building the company now for over 8 years.
Before we close, Mr. Trimble, please provide us with an update on the capital structure for Skyharbour Resources.
Yeah, so there's about 115 million shares issued and outstanding. We're trading at about a $45 to $50 million Canadian market cap. As I mentioned, a healthy treasury with over $8.5 million in cash and stock, so fully funded for all of the work that we have planned, as well as partners funding the exploration, the bulk of the exploration programs that are some of our other projects. So still relatively low market cap. If we look back to 06, 07, and we see where these some of these uranium companies were trading at in that market, was multiples of where the companies are trading now. So I think there's still a lot of runway here. And again, as we see sentiment continue to improve, we see more investors pay attention to nuclear and pay attention to uranium mining companies. I think it's going to be a fun few years.
Sir, any final words for current and prospective shareholders?
No, that covers it. So I just say keep an eye out for news flow over the coming months. We're at that point in the year where we've got summer programs, spring and summer programs commencing shortly or currently underway. So there's going to be quite a bit of news flow. And you can always get more information at our website, which is www.skyharbourltd.com.
Mr. Trimble, thank you for joining us today. Wishing you and Skyharbour Resources the absolute best, sir.
Thank you.
The information presented on Proven and Probable is provided for educational and informational purposes only, without any express or implied warranty of any kind, including warranties of accuracy, completeness, or fitness for any particular purpose. The information is not intended to be and does not constitute financial, investment, or trading advice, or any other advice. You should not make any financial, investment, or trading decision based on any of the information presented without first undertaking independent due diligence and consultation with a professional broker or competent financial advisor.